Hey everybody, this is Christy with Dandelion Designs. Happy Tuesday afternoon. So what's going on where you are? It looks like we are about to be getting a nasty ice storm here. Not fun, but we've had some really great weather for the last couple of days, so I'm not going to complain too much. How's your weather? What are you guys expecting out there? I wanted to take some time. I have an order for a Buffalo Plaid sign. I totally thought that was going to be over when the Christmas season ended, but I'm still getting orders for these. So I know that when I was making them over the Christmas season, I got a lot of people asking me how I painted that on wood, because here we're using just a 1/2 inch sheet of ply that I've cut down, and my size here is 24 by 12. And so I'm just going to kind of jump in because I'm trying to get this sign finished. I've used right here this color. This is Wise Owl's Republic Red, and that's the color I was using all season long for these signs. And I had a really cool one with Merry Christmas, and I sold the heck out of that sign during the Christmas season. So we're going to use my really cool tiny little tape measure there. And sorry you can't see me. I'm here. I just wanted to make sure we could see this. And please, please offer me some grace if you hear some kids running around. I do have 5 little kids. For those who don't know me, my kids are 12, 7, 5, 3, and 2. And at this time of the day, I actually have my neighbor's kids too. And they are 10, 6, and 5. So right now, they are all busy and keeping each other busy and playing, which is a huge blessing. So I can get some stuff done here. So I'm just going to jump in and kind of show you my process. I watched a YouTube video how to do this. I'm hoping to get a whole full tutorial on my blog when I get that up and running. I am building my website right now. I'm just going through a whole bunch of changes here at Dandelion Designs, and I'm just ready to rock 2018. So let's get started. Here we go. Can't see very well. My Republic Red and my black, another Wise Owl color. I am a Wise Owl retailer. I live and die by Wise Owl paints. So that's pretty much all you're going to see me using. So let's get started here. So our first step, we have to tape this off in different directions. So this is actually going to have to come in probably 3 separate videos, maybe 4, if I show you then the stenciling process that I use on top, because we have dry time. So we need to make sure that we let everything dry in the process. But I'm going to start off putting tape down this way on my sign. So that's going to be my first set of lines here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to measure out what we're looking at, and then we're going to mark the middle with a pencil. And then we're going to mark the middle down here too. Okay, and so here's what I do then. I use, for this process especially, I use only frog tape, and it's backwards, so forgive me on that, but especially the yellow kind of frog tape, because it's the more delicate one. And if I haven't given things a day or 2 to dry, which I don't always, especially when I'm doing my signs, I want to make sure that I use that. I started off using the blue painter's tape, and the bleeding was a little bit, not awful, but there was bleeding that I didn't really want on there. So, and when you're doing a sign this intricate and this time consuming, if you get bleeding on your last layer, it is heartbreaking because you have to start all over. So we don't want to see that. So here's what I'm doing here is I just ripped off a piece of tape that went the entire length of my board here. And I don't know if you can see this. I just creased it so that it's right in half. So this is where I know that I'm going to have this tape direct dead center on my board. So we're going to do another one here. And it's kind of hard to see, and it takes some patience. But, so then we take this and we try to line our center up right with the center of our tape, that way. And then the same thing this way. And then we lay this down. Now, like I said, I love this yellow frog tape. And that's all I use for my furniture pieces too. So I don't know why I didn't start out with it. I should have started out with it too. So now this should be right about the center of my board, straight up and down. And you just put this down here. So now we're going to start taping this off on either side. And just butt this tape right up against the other piece. And then the same thing on the other side. And now, once we get this part finished, hey everybody who's out there, thanks for tuning in today. All right, so we've got these two pieces on. Now we're going to pull off the centerpiece. And now this one will just kind of be our spacer as we go all the way down the side of the board. So we're going to put this one here. And yes, this uses a lot of tape, and I know that this yellow frog tape is not the cheapest tape in the world. But believe me, it's definitely worth it if you're wanting to paint this. And I try to get these as close as possible if I have to pick them up and move them a little bit. But there we go. We are centered again on there. And this is the boring process, the boring part. But in a few minutes, we'll be ready to mix up some paints and get some paint on here. So if anyone's just tuning in, I am showing everyone how I've been painting my buffalo plaid. I know it's been one of my super popular signs this winter, really. And I've had a lot of other artists asking when I first put my sign up how I did it. I'm not sure if I'm not seeing comments or if there's not any comments out there. It sounds like I have kids running downstairs, so let's see. I put the 12-year-old in charge up there. And I hear one who's supposed to be napping. Clearly, that didn't work out so well. Okay, we're almost at the end of this side here. I'll put this last piece on. These side pieces can get a little ornery. Just try to do the best you can. I mean, you'll have time and you'll be able to kind of play with it again, but I try to get it stuck down as much as I can on the first pass. And now we just scoot on over to the other side. I feel the start of a cold coming on. Who else out there is sick? I know my neighbor just had a nasty cold. Actually, she had the flu. I'm hoping that doesn't come into my house. Everyone say a prayer for us. I don't know if I can handle everyone getting sick. I know there's a bunch of people at my husband's work who claim to be dying of the plague right now. So I hope they don't pass that on to him too. Kind of looks like I've got a Harry Potter thing going on here. I don't know if y'all can see that too. But I think that's Harry Potter. My kids are into it. My husband's into it. He read all the books to the kids. But that's his deal. Mama stays home with them all day. Daddy puts them to bed every night. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing we've got worked out here. It gives him some time with them, and it gives me a little bit of a break from the long days. All right, we're getting there here. Looks like I got one more piece of tape to put on. So, again, one of those stubborn end pieces that's so hard. Okay, so now what we want to do is we just want to push down. That piece can go away. We just want to make sure that we get all these ends pushed down nicely. After painting my board, I sanded it down with 220 to make it nice and smooth, 220 sandpaper. And so now we just make sure that we get this nice. Let me grab something here. I'm looking for it now. Okay, this will work. It's just a little card. I can't find my tool right now. It's probably in my basement workshop. Don't worry, it's not a credit card. It's just my Fuel Rewards card. Feel free to try to steal that information. Rack up my free gas for me. And you're hearing a child. That's my 7-year-old. Honey, I'm in the middle of something right now. We're almost done with this first series of steps here. Now don't worry if you're scratching this part here. Not only when we seal it will that all go away, but this will also be painted. So I've got my paints here and my Klingon brush, because I always paint with the Klingon brush. I'm using my 040. It's been nice and very well used. Here comes the kid. Can you please go upstairs for me? Please. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to mix together. We're going to mix together the Republic Red, which is what I used for the base layer. And so we're going to put some Republic Red in here. And then we're going to add some black. So we want to give it some color, but we don't want to take away
too much.
All the red color. Right. Too much, Max. Just give it a little depth. We're going to add just a teeny bit more. And this part is really just trial and error here with how much to add.
It's not really that hard, right?
I've done it and I've messed up and had to go back and repaint on that part. So now here's what we're going to do. We're just going to take this and
strip it across.
Paint over right here.
The tape, too. That's why you put the tape on there.
This is why we put the tape on here, buddy.
So you don't get the other color that's below that. So you don't get this color gone away from this color, this darker.
You're right, because we want to be able to have the stripes.
Yeah, to make it look good.
Yes.
And hello, I am Max.
Because we're going to make it look plaid, like those other ones.
Yeah. And plaid means it's like stripy.
It is stripy.
And how do you make money from this?
Well, because Mommy sells her signs.
This your pencil.
Yes.
This is a lot
Thank
of
you.
material. And here's the color of the paint. Ow. So you can just see my hand over the paint. That's me.
That's my Max. So when we get finished with painting these stripes here, I will take off the tape.
And then you'll see how cool it is.
You'll see how cool it is. And then we have to let it dry for a little while.
And then you can make this at home by yourself.
Right. So I will probably come back live with you guys after bedtime. Does that sound good? I think after bedtime is a good idea.
After what?
After the kids' bedtime tonight. We'll go back and we'll do the next layer.
Even mine?
Yeah. Probably even yours, buddy.
I might be awake by that time.
You think so?
I have a chance. Just a tiny chance, though.
I think not. I think that we're going to work on homework when Mommy's done here, and then we're going to get you into bed at a decent time tonight. So then do not throw away this paint that you have left over, because
we have to use it in another one.
You can use it in another one. We're going to do some more mixing with those two colors later for the other stripes. So what I do to store mine in the meantime is I just throw them in a gallon Ziploc bag in the little bowl, and then we have them there. So
just take off the tape.
Thank you, Max. Let Mama do it.
Why can't I just do one?
Because I need you to let Mommy do these ones, okay, baby?
I promise I won't mess it up.
I'm not really, bud.
I'll just
Let's have good listening skills, please.
I'll get them off the table for you. Oh, that's just quick.
Yeah, that was quick, huh? That works. Thank you for trying to help, and thank you for helping explain everything today, buddy.
Not all of it.
No, you helped explain some of it.
Like, you mix those two colors together.
Right. Can you see how these stripes are coming out? Yeah, it looks like you guys can see them on there.
Why does it say rotate?
So it has just a little bit more color.
Why did on the screen it said rotate your device?
And it really doesn't look like much yet. I know the first time I did this, I was like, really? It just looks like kind of a darker red stripe, but it all comes together. I promise you, it all comes together at the end, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. It totally looks darker once you have that black layer on the top. All right, you got that last one? Good job. Thank you, bud. And yes.
And then you can see it.
No bleed through. We've got it. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me here this afternoon. And I will, like I said, be going live again later tonight to do the second layer. We're going to do some horizontal stripes on this side, and then there's my baby, my Max. And then after that dries, then we'll do some more vertical stripes, and then finally the stencil. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of the day. If you guys are in Northern Illinois, please stay safe. Apparently this ice storm is supposed to be kind of bad. So I will see y'all later. Thanks so much.